I think in Britain, I think we had a bit of a dodgy past.
Always catches up with you, though, doesn't it?
I mean, I think we was a bit, treated unfairly in Britain because we was on an independent label without a manager or anything like that, and we was very young. I think we were naive, and for instance, when we had to do an interview, we did every interview possible. We smiled in photos.
Almost too over. Too
and
eager.
I think people got sick of us. And also from the first album, a lot of people didn't like that at all. Thought it was just rubbish.
When you say serious, we've got this real problem in England where people think that we're just totally doomy and pessimistic, which is just not true. A few people have said it in interviews, a few people have said it on the radio and on television and things like that, and everybody just seems to believe it. But we're happy people.
The thing is, we're not really after mega success anyway. It's very nice in Britain. We do all right. Our singles never get sort of top 5 or, we've had top 5, but generally they don't go to number 1 and things like that. And it's just good. We can walk the streets. We can lead a perfectly normal life and just concentrate on making good music.
Do you think being on an independent label is an advantage?
I think if we'd have been on a major label, I don't think we'd be talking to you now. Put it that way, because they would have definitely milked us dry after the first couple of albums.
So you might not be here anymore.
No, because the thing is, a lot of our singles that we've released in the past 3 or 4 years, I don't think a major label would have released at all. Blasphemous Rumours and even most of the last 6 or 7 singles, they just wouldn't have released, I don't think.
A lot of people who've heard your new LP, Black Celebration, might think it's quite depressing and dark. How did the lyrics come about? How do you go about writing such lyrics?
Answering this question, I start to sound very pessimistic again, but I don't mean to. See, the majority of the music that's around is just falsely optimistic. I just try to be realistic. That's the trouble. And I write about things that are going on inside me and around me, and that's it. And people think that I'm being very pessimistic, but I'm not.
What brought about this change of image to the black leather and all that kind of gear then?
We used to wear leather right in the early days. I don't know if you remember, like Just Can't Get Enough and things like that.
Yeah.
And then we sort of went a bit, funny. I mean, and we're Depeche Mode.
It's like Martin wearing dresses and things like that. People think, oh well, obviously he's a bit pervy or something. But
I don't think it's pervy wearing dresses necessarily. I wouldn't wear one.
So
but I think he just likes wearing them. I think that was heavily focused on in the press, too over-focused really.
Because some people might think you're doing that thing purely to attract attention, and the wrong kind of attention.
See, I did that for a while, and it did attract the wrong sort of attention. So I'm really playing it down at the moment. I'm going for this new masculine look.
Can't you see?
Look, jeans, normal jeans.
Europe and America is totally different to Britain anyway. Britain seems to never forget, when we started as a band, I was 18 for instance, so obviously I was very young and fresh-faced,
Still are.
To make up. But, I think that people just take a long time to forget, in Britain, whereas in Europe, they tend to listen to the music more and realise that what we're doing is making good songs, and they buy it for that sole reason, especially in places like France and Germany.
We have got a funny reputation in England, I think. There's a lot of people that might still be embarrassed to go and buy a Depeche Mode record.
It's sort of the wimpy thing, isn't it? The wimpy
from
tag.
the early days, and we'd be the first to admit that we've made a lot of mistakes over the years in the way we've presented ourselves, I think, and we think we're learning all the time and improving that all the time. But,
we've tried to never been too pretentious about anything, and we've always been very honest in the way that we've tried to present ourselves, and then the records that we make. We haven't tried to sort of prove ourselves by doing something totally that says that makes you a he-man or whatever. We're not sort of, that's something we haven't tried to do. So I suppose that's why a lot of people, as Al said, get embarrassed about going into a shop and buying a record. I think it's totally ridiculous, really. I think there should be. People gave us more of a chance. Some people gave us more of a chance. I'm sure they'd get turned on to us.
How do you get over the the sort of visual side on stage, because you know, apart from Dave, you're all stood there behind synthesizers, it can look quite boring. So how do you actually make it look interesting for the audience and exciting?
We always try and go for quite an elaborate stage design with the lights and just the whole show, you know. And we've been using video screens on this tour as well to try and help get the whole look of the thing across for the people right at the back. And Dave makes up for our kind of, you know, stationary. Well, that's not very.
Thing
good,
is, yeah. Thing is, like in this sort of, you know, this question always comes up. But the fact of the matter is that we're a very good live band, and far better than many of the other so-called good live bands that are around that I've been to see, and seen bands that have supposedly the live bands to go and see and been totally bored, you know. And if you, as you'll see tonight, and if you come to any Depeche Mode concert, it's a total party, and the whole audience join in, whether it be 5,000 people or 50,000 people, and there's never a dull moment. You know, I can't. I've been to see bands that are guitar bands, for instance, that just stand for the whole gig as well. You know, I mean, I think a good gig is when you actually get an audience to participate with you and join in, and not let them feel that they have to just stand and look at you and look up at you as stars, sort of thing, and they can actually feel that they want to join in and dance around and go home feeling, well, you know, I had a really good night tonight, you know.